So welcome to Breath of Love. I'm playing with Breath Church because that's what it feels like. It is the 28th of May, 2023, and I am ever so grateful that you found yourself here in real time. And some of y'all are listening later. And I'm just opening my heart to those listening later, that this session may serve you in every way that it can. Today's theme is grief slash sadness slash sorrow, all of those, grief and sadness and sorrow. And oh my gosh, I was thinking about this one, been thinking about it. It's one of the most joyful playlists that I've actually created, though. I love the playlist. Just keep that in mind. You know, grief is it's a real sticky one, a real tricky one, a real interesting, energetic, and I don't know how you are with it. I know how I've been with it, and it hasn't been pretty. The resistance, the not even to look over at the grief that was in my system. I did everything I could not to presence the grief that was in there. I knew that it was in there, and I was just avoiding it at all costs. And grief can masquerade. This is just what I'm thinking about. So it might serve you, but I think it can masquerade in so many other ways, through addictions, through disassociation, through anxiety, through depression, through the desire to take a drink or to numb yourself. This grief can, in the mind space, be maybe so overwhelming to think about being with, because we actually don't know where the grief is going to take us. We don't know where the grief is going to show you places in your consciousness. We're not quite sure what grief is up to with you, but it wants to serve your spirit to come more alive. It truly does. Through loss, through separation, through abandonment, through death. That's the big one. But we can be grief stricken for a variety of reasons, you know, a loss of a friendship, a loss of health, a loss of a limb, a loss of an organ, a loss of mobility, loss of a job, a loss of a home, or something that you were really attached to can evoke feelings of grief. They can be big feelings or they can be little feelings, and they certainly can build up. The grief in the system, I think, just sticks together. And if we don't tend to it, it just becomes this block, this true energetic block in the system, this energetic system that you are. And it creates a lot of discord for you if you're not willing to be with it, to look at it, to breathe through it, to be curious and compassionate and open about it. The grief that you have experienced along your journey will eventually gunk you up and bring you down and overwhelm you, because it's trying to show you something, to serve you. But if you remain unwilling to get with it, then you are going to pay some kind of cost, some kind of price. I don't know how big, I don't know to what degree. This is what I've recognized in my own journey, and it's what I recognize with the people that I counsel. It takes a lot of courage and bravery to get with the grief, because we don't know how deep the well of grief is or what it's actually related to. Sometimes we might think it's the death of a cat or the death of a parent or the death of something, but that can also bring us and open doors to other places that we had no idea about. Maybe it was some time in your adolescence, you know, where you got bullied or betrayed and then ended up leaving yourself, or learning some technique to betray yourself because that felt comfortable or familiar. Well, there's grief riddled through all of that, energetic, if you really slow it down, grieving for a lost sense of self. So my goodness, I acknowledge you for your willingness to be in a breathwork session and then to surrender to this theme of grief and sadness and sorrow. It's really meant to serve you. It's meant to serve your system. This is a holy, sacred session, and I hope that you might feel safe enough to breathe with this theme wrapped around you, knowing that the intention of this is for your well-being, it's for your harmony, it's for grace, it's for integration, it's for you to come more fully alive. That's the intention of this session. And grief is simply one of those areas in consciousness that I'm just going to keep highlighting because it's so powerful and it's so potent and it's pervasive. It touches all of us at some point in time to varying degrees. If you can get with your grief and integrate and release and emote and feel some of that stuff, you will be a better person. You will be a better partner. You will be a better teammate, a better friend, a better all of it. You will be so much more integrated and solid and anchored and grounded and rooted in the truth of who you truly are. And you will be able to be a better service to everyone around you if you're willing to get in here and release some of the energy related to the grief that is in your system. So I love you. I appreciate you. There's no pressure here, by the way. There's simply this invitation. It's an invitation to explore with compassion, with softness, and with curiosity. And I want to be with you the whole time. So if I haven't acknowledged you,